Welcome to Prison Cop 101. I'm putting together a series of informational videos about what it's like to be a correctional officer working for the California Department of Corrections. I'm going to go over all the different types of positions that an officer will find themselves working at some point in their career. I'm going to explain the different types of inmates they're going to come in contact with and the different situations they will find themselves in if they're working as a correctional officer on a prison yard. Now, in this video, we're going to cover searches, and we're going to cover searches on a level 3 GP yard. All right, the first thing I'm going to put out is most cops do not like searching. They don't like searching cells. They don't like being around inmates. They don't like touching inmates. Okay? Me, I was different. I loved it. I loved the job from the beginning to the end. I was one of the strange officers. I was proactive. Okay? Searching means you're going to find shit. You're going to find the drugs. You're going to find the weapons. You're going to find the cell phones. That's what the job's all about. You know, these officers all went to the same academy that I went to. And at some point in that academy, that sergeant told us that, you know what? At some point in your career, you're going to have to put hands on an inmate and you're going to have to search them. So all these officers knew it coming in, but they still hated the job and they hated searching. Having said that, we're going to cover searches on a level 3 GP yard. Now, there's different times that you will be mandated to search whether you like it or not, okay? Some of those times are going to be a pruno sweep. All the officers meet at one building, they do a sweep of the building. Or you're going to be searching inmates coming out of the dining hall, okay? 10 of you are lined up. If the sergeant's on his JOB, the inmates coming out of the dining hall, they have milks, bananas, sausages stuck down their pants. He's going to direct them towards you and the other officers. And the reason he does that is to make sure everybody's participating in the search. If he doesn't do that, you got 10 cops there and only 2 are searching. The rest of them are bullshitting. Another time you're going to be mandated to search is when inmates are coming out of the building. The sergeant has all 10 of you line up outside a housing unit, 5 on each side of the door. As the inmates are exiting the building, the sergeant that's on his JOB is going to direct that inmate traffic to the various officers and they're going to search the inmates. Another time is when you're doing an inline into your housing unit. You got 3 officers assigned to a housing unit, you got a gunner upstairs, and you got a floor 1 and 2 downstairs. Now, floor 1 and 2 are going to be doing searches. One's going to search, the other one's going to watch his partner's back. Now, you're going to pick a number, say every 3rd inmate that comes in that building, you pull them over and you'll search them. You're not searching every inmate that comes in the building. Another time is during a riot. That's a given. Once the riot's quelled, you cuff the inmates up, you search the inmate, and you search the ground around them. Same thing with just a random fight on the yard. A couple of knuckleheads get into it. You search them, you cuff them up, you search them, search the area around them. Those are the various types of times that you will search whether you like it or not. Now, I'm going to go over the times you search if you want to. And that's on the recreation yard. All these guys are out on the yard. They're playing cards at the tables, basketball, handball. They're working out in the weight pile. They're playing softball. They're playing soccer. They're just walking around the track, okay? They're out there having fun. You're out there walking around the yard with your partner as a yard officer. Now, out on the recreation yard, you have 1 to 3 officers assigned as the yard officers. And their job is to patrol the yard and make sure no shit happens. And if it does, they respond to it. Now, I'm walking the yard with my partner. I'm getting bored. You know what? Let's go search some inmates. Okay, we made the decision to search. So now the next decision we're going to make is who's going to search and who's going to be the wingman. Okay, I'm going to search. So we've made that decision. My partner's going to be the wingman. Now, once you make that decision, stick to it. I don't know how many times I've been searching inmates out in the yard. Next thing I know, my partner's right next to me searching inmates too. Don't be that nice cop. Okay? Your job as a wingman is to watch my back. That's the only thing you have to do. My job is to search. Okay? So I'm searching. My partner's a wingman. Next decision you got to make is who are you going to search? You've got a variety of inmates out there that you can search. You got homosexuals. You got your trannies. You got your child molesters. You got your gangbangers, Southerners, Northerners, Bloods, Crips. You got your Pisces. You got your Border Brothers. You got your others. You got your non-affiliated. Okay? So you got a bunch of people that you can choose from. For this video, we're going to search some Southerners. They're out in the middle of the yard. Okay? Watching their buddies play handball and basketball. Now, there's an old military saying, terrain is going to dictate how you fight your battles. It's the same thing with how you search. Okay? The terrain on that yard is going to dictate how you search those inmates. We're going to search some inmates out in the middle of the yard watching their buddies play handball and basketball. They are Southern Hispanic inmates. So, me and my partner, we're walking the track. We get halfway around the track. We cut through the grass and make contact with these inmates. Now, there's 5 inmates in this group. Well, I don't search more than 3 inmates at a time. Okay? That's my steadfast rule. You'll see in some of these videos where they'll have 10 inmates stand up, put their arms out. No, you want to stop all movement. You want the minimum amount of inmates when you're searching because you've only got 2 eyes. I can pretty much cover 3 inmates, but I can't cover 10. Neither can my partner. Okay? So you want to pick a number of the most amount of inmates that you'll search at one time. Mine has always been 3. So we've got 5 in this group. So I make contact with them. I tell 2 of the guys, kick rocks, it's your lucky day. The next 3, I tell them if they're standing up, gentlemen, do me a favor, have a seat on the ground. Once you sit down, spread yourselves 3 feet apart. Face the yard gunner. I get on the radio, I advise the yard gunner that we'll be searching 3 inmates in the middle of the yard. Now I've got him watching my back too. Now if these inmates are already seated, I approach him. Gentlemen, stay seated. I'm going to search you. Spread yourselves 3 feet apart. Once that's done, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have all 3 inmates take all their property out of their pants and their shirt and put it on the ground behind them. Then I'm going to have them take their shoes and socks off. Put it on the ground behind them. So I'm not wasting time when I search and pulling stuff out because now I got to hand it to somebody, which means my partner's not watching my back. This way, everything that's legal that they've got on them, they put on the ground behind them. And sometimes you'll be surprised at some of the shit you find on these inmates. There's been more than once that I've searched an inmate and they had a gopher in their damn pocket. So this cuts to the chase. So if you do find something on the inmate, most likely it's illegal. So they've got all their property out. I'm standing behind the inmates. My partner's standing probably 5 feet in front of them. He's watching my back. I can see past him. He can see past me. Now, when you're searching, you don't have to look all the time. You got hands, touchy-feely. You can look around while you're searching. Your head's always on a swivel. And another thing, I don't wear gloves. Okay? Gloves impede my feelings in my fingers, so you miss a lot of stuff when you're wearing gloves, especially those damn rubber gloves. You get sweaty and they tear anyways. So I know a lot of people out there are saying, you know, you can catch all kinds of diseases. Sure you can. All you got to do is wash your hands. When I started in '86, nobody wore gloves. You know, so anyways, I don't wear gloves. So I'm standing behind the inmates. First thing I do is I search the property behind the inmate. Once that's done, I have the inmate stand up. I have him put his hands behind his head, interlock his fingers. Now, before I ever put my hands on that inmate, I'm going to ask him if he's got anything sharp on him. And the reason I do that, if he does have something sharp on him, once I start my search, I'm putting him on the ground. But when I go to write my report, I can state in my report that I specifically asked the inmate if he had anything on him, and he said no. Okay, so that's a plus towards me in strengthening my case against the inmate. Okay, so I asked the inmate if he's got anything sharp on him. He says no. Or some of these guys will be assholes, you know, and say, find out yourself. Well, once I take control of that inmate and he says, find out myself, I dump him. Because I don't know if he's got anything on him. And once I dump him, I put him in cuffs. And the yard goes down, and it's just chaos at that point. So 9 times out of 10, they're not going to do that. So I do my search. He's got nothing on him. And another reason we have these inmates sit down is to put them at a disadvantage. You see I've got this one inmate up. If this search goes sideways and I got to put him on the ground, his partners are already on the ground. If they want to get involved, they got to stand up to do it, which means my partner is on them. Responding staff's on them. Because as soon as I put this inmate down, this gunner's putting the yard down. So the advantage is always to the officer as much as possible. Because if these guys want to get you, they're going to get you. But you know what? You don't have to assist them in doing that. So I searched the first inmate. He didn't have anything on him. I tell him to pick his property up and take a walk. Now I only have 2 inmates left. They're both seated. Their property's behind them. So I search the next inmate's property, have him stand up. I do the same process with him. Kick rocks, you're good. I only got 1 inmate. The thing is, we go 3, 2, 1, and each time we're searching an inmate, another threat is gone. So if something goes sideways, I'm just dealing with these 2 inmates. I kick the next inmate loose. If something goes sideways, I'm only dealing with this 1 inmate. So last inmate, same thing. I search the property, have them stand up, hands behind your head, interlock your fingers. I do my closed body search. And there's one thing I always do, and you're going to watch these prison videos on YouTube about these cops that like to grab balls and play with the inmates' asses and everything else. You know what? If you're going to search an inmate, you better be searching the crotch area, because that's where they hide most of their shit, their cell phones, their drugs, their weapons, because they know, 1, cops don't like to search to begin with, and 2, they sure as a hell, 9 times out of 10, aren't going to search the crotch area. Well, guess what? I do. And before I touch that area, when I'm searching that inmate, I tell him I'm going what I call up and under. Meaning I'm going up through his legs to his crotch area, and I'm going to search that. And then I'm going to pull back all the way up his butt to make sure he doesn't have anything there. If you're going to search, you got to do that. If not, you know what? You're just like any other lame-ass cop. So always search the crotch area. You're going to get shit from the inmates. That's par for the course. You're going to get shit from the inmates on anything. So if you got thin skin, this job ain't for you. So anyways, that completes the search of the inmates on the grass area. And like I said, the grass area dictated how I searched those inmates. I utilized the grass. I sat them down. Okay, the next search we're going to do is on the track area. You got inmates walking the track. They're minding their own business. We make contact with 2 inmates. Now, usually the track area, you want to contact these inmates when they're next to a building or next to program services, because you want to put them on the wall. Okay? And once you do that, once you make contact with the inmates, do me a favor, gentlemen. I want to search you. Do me a favor, step up to the wall. Now, the inmates are going to comply, and they're going to step up to the wall, or they're going to give you a mouthful of complaints. You know, why are you searching me? How come you're not searching the blacks? How come you're not searching the whites? You know, all kinds of little petty stuff. You know, why are you searching me? Well, I'm searching you because you're wearing a blue shirt, blue pants, and you're walking on a prison yard in the state of California. And you might have something on you. Now, if you don't want me to search you, I guarantee you I can get 5 cops that'll come out here and assist me in searching you. And you don't want that. You don't want to ruin your day over a 2-minute search. So why don't you do me a favor? You and your buddy step over to the wall. Once you get to the wall, turn around and have a seat against the wall. Once you take a seat, take all your property out of your pants, take your shoes and socks off, and put it on the ground beside you. Once again, 9 times out of 10, the inmates are going to comply to your orders. So once they do that, they're seated, their property's out of their pants. Once again, my partner's watching my back. I can't really watch his, but my head's still on a swivel because now I'm facing a wall. Now, next thing I do is I have the first inmate stand up, turn around, face the wall, put your palms on the wall. Slide your feet as far back as you can towards me until I tell you to stop. Now, I want that inmate as horizontal to the ground as I can get him. That way, if this search goes sideways, all I got to do is kick a foot out or pull a hand or push him down on his back and he's going to the ground. That's how off balance I want this inmate. Now, once I do this and I've got him positioned on the wall, I conduct the closed body search. And once again, I will search the crotch area, and I will let him know that that's coming. And do not, and one thing I tell the inmates, I'm going to search your crotch area. Do not jump. If you jump, I'm putting you on the ground. And when I say that, it's got to be severe. You know, I may be searching the crotch area and he'll lift his leg or start cracking a joke or something like that. So you got to determine how severe this inmate's movements are for you to put him on the ground. You got to use common sense. Prison Cop 101, that's what it's all about. So once I've done this closed body search, I have him pick his property up and he's gone. Now we're down to one inmate. Once again, we're still at the have the advantage on these guys. So now I search his property, have him stand up, face the wall, palms on the wall, feet back towards me. I do the closed body search. Of course, I ask him if they got anything sharp on him. Now, when I conduct a search, I ask these guys if they got anything sharp on them. They say no, fine. Once I conduct that closed body search and I feel something, you don't have to ask these guys, once you find something on them, hey, what is this? You're putting the ball in his court. Now you're waiting for him to respond to your question. Don't do that, because now he's got the advantage on you. If you're doing that closed body search and you feel something and you think it's a weapon, dump that guy. Put him on the ground, put him in cuffs. Okay? Once you complete that search, hey, it may just be a pin. Hey, you can bring the yard back up and you can take the guy out of cuffs. Tell the guy, I asked you to take everything out of your pockets. You didn't do that. What'd you expect me to do? Never ask the guy what it is if you find something on him. Dump him. It's safer for you. It's safer for him. Okay, so we've concluded that search, that type of search on the track against the wall. Once again, the track and the wall dictated how I search these inmates. Now, the last type of search I'm going to go over is kind of hinky. It's the inmates sitting at a table. Okay, now that table consists of 4 chairs, or sometimes it's got a cement ring seat that goes all the way around the table. And it's on a cement pad. Now, general rule on a level 3 GP yard is you can have 5 inmates on a cement pad at a time. Any more than that, you're kicking the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th inmate off the pad. You always want to keep it to 5 or less. So we approach the table. There's 5 inmates, 1 standing, 4 playing cards. So I'm going to utilize this table. This table is going to dictate how I search these inmates. Now, I walk up to the cement pad. I do not step on the cement pad. Next thing I do is I tell the inmates, gentlemen, put your hands on the table, palms down. We're going to search you. Okay, now my partner's watching my back. I can see past him. He can see past me. So we've got each other's backs. So I've stopped the movement at that table. That's the main thing. You want to stop the movement. That way they can't toss anything. A lot of cops will approach that table. Gentlemen, stand up. Step over here, get in line. Put your hands out. We're going to search you. Now you've got 4 guys getting up out of a table. You've only got 2 eyes. They've got the ability. These guys aren't stupid. They've got the ability to just toss something real quick. Okay? It's not rocket science. So you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you stop all movement. Gentlemen, put your hands on the table, palms down. Do not move until I tell you to. Okay? You're adamant about that. If a guy moves, tell him, hey, I told you to keep your fucking hands on the table. Don't move them. If you don't want me to search you, tell me now and I'll cuff you up, take you over to talk to the sergeant. Okay, 9 times out of 10, they comply. So I've stopped the movement. All 4 inmates have their hands, palms down on the table. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to search the first inmate. I'm going to tell him, take all your property out of your pants, put it on the table in front of you. He does that. Once he does that, I'm going to have him turn around on that seat. Do not get up. Turn around and face me. So now I got the inmate seated. He's facing me. His property's on the table behind him. First thing he's going to do is he's going to take his shoes and socks off. I'm going to search him. I'm going to give him back to the inmate. He's going to put him on the table behind him. Now I'm going to have the inmate stand up. Turn around, put your hands behind your head, interlock your fingers. Walk back towards me. Now I'm going to have him walk back towards me because I'm at the edge of the cement pad. So once he gets there, I'm going to tell him to stop. I'll take control of him. I'll do a closed body search, and I'm going to search that crotch area, and he's going to know it because I'm going to tell him. Okay, once I complete that closed body search, I have him step forward, pick his shoes up only, and take a walk. Now I'm going to do that same process with the other 3 inmates. Property on the table, turn around, take your shoes off, stand up, walk back towards me. I do the closed body search. Now once all the closed body searches are done, my next step is I'm searching the property on the table. Once I do that, I'm searching underneath the table. Then I'm searching up underneath all the seats. And the last thing I'm going to search is the perimeter of that cement pad, because these inmates love sticking weapons in the ground between the cement pad and the grass, and drugs. So that's the different ways that you're going to search inmates on a level 3 GB prison yard. Whether you like searching or not, at some point in your career, you will be putting hands on an inmate. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something from it. You guys that are already on the job, I hope maybe you learned something from the little twist I put on how I search inmates. You guys stay safe out there and watch your six.